Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. What a vibe, what energy. It's infectious in such a beautiful day. Hello, Durham. Hello, Durham. Miners, unionists, distinguished friends, Maras, my Maras. What an honor, what a great honor to be invited to speak to the Durham Miners Gala. More than 150 years of history, an incredible roster of speakers and activists, voices of courage, spanning generations and movements. And every year, my friends, hundreds of thousands returning to this great city, to this inspiring history in solidarity and purpose. Allow me first to thank Stephen Guy, Alan Marjum, Andy Dawson and their team here at the Durham Miners Gala. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this extraordinary movement, of this family. And thank you to all the unions here with us today, and to the labor movement, Eddie, Sharon, Matt, all of you here and those who are not here. And I want to recognize Unite the Union for their vote yesterday for a full arms embargo on Israel, a ban on trade with the illegal settlements, cutting all ties and all trade that assists with Israel's violation of international law. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Unite. My friends, I cannot recall in my lifetime a cruelty so deliberate, a brutality so unmasked as what we are witnessing in Gaza on a daily basis. I cannot recall another moment where lies and propaganda have buried the truth so deeply to silence conscience and morality, to not just distort the facts, but to attempt to erase the very sense of right and wrong. The basic instinct, human instinct, for what is right and what is wrong. The fight for justice in Palestine is not a fight or a difference or an edge between right and left. It is a fight between right and wrong. Right and wrong. I cannot imagine that still some try to shield this Israeli government of criminals and to stand by some politicians, international actors stand by as a genocide is being normalized, as silence is being normalized, as complicity is being normalized. My friends, more than 67,000 of our innocent people have been killed in the last 22 months. And by the way, we still don't know the final number. It is more likely that the numbers will be way more than that. Tens of thousands of children, women. In fact, by the end of my speech, a Palestinian child in Gaza would have been either killed or maimed. Every 16 minutes, a Palestinian child is killed or maimed. 2 million people displaced, over 90% of homes, schools, hospitals, universities, businesses, industries destroyed. An entire population being deliberately starved, deliberately displaced, deliberately denied medicine, fuel, electricity, water, and corralled into just 15% of the Gaza tiny territory. I cannot understand how Israel's very clearly expressed plan for the ethnic cleansing of Gaza and Palestine is not unequivocally rejected out of hand. I cannot understand how Israel's very clearly publicly expressed plan for continued settlement expansion and annexation of the occupied West Bank is not clearly rejected out of hand. I cannot fathom how morally bereft one must be to defend and justify Israel's genocide, this barbarism, to witness the horrors we have been seeing for the last 22 months and still find a way to justify it. I am genuinely lost for words, and I confess to you, my friends, I confess to you, I too sometimes struggle for hope. To see any light in this darkness. But then I see the steadfastness of my people. I hear the laughter of our children. I see the Gaza doctors, the Gaza journalists, the rescue teams. I see our mothers. I see our grandparents. I see the heroism, the belief, and I see you. I see the millions who march for justice in Palestine all over the world, every week, every day. And I find myself speaking to hundreds of thousands of people along inspiring leaders like Jeremy Corbyn here. Yes, let him hear your applaud and support. I'll tell you, the people of the UK, the British people have turned this country into the epicenter of solidarity and support for Palestine and with Palestine. Thank you. This has become the largest and the longest protest movement in the history of this country. And it reminds me of the anti-apartheid movement of the 80s. Like Nelson Mandela was freed, like South Africa was freed, Palestine will be free. And my friends, I find myself among friends. I find myself here in Durham. I see your passion. I feel your passion. I hear your chants. I feel your energy. And hope is rekindled. Hope is rekindled. I've marched with you earlier today. I see in your eyes our shared humanity. More importantly, you give hope to those people who are stuck as we speak in a tent in the middle of Gaza, wondering how to feed their children, wondering how to survive the day, wondering when this will all end, and when it does, what future lies ahead. Friends, there is a lot of talk about a ceasefire these days. This will be a third ceasefire in 22 months, and since Israel unilaterally broke all the other ceasefires, it is Israel that needs to be restrained. It needs to be brought to compliance. And to do that, the formula is very simple. It does not need a brainer. Implement international law. Implement the UK law. Adhere to the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice, and all the UN treaties and resolutions that the UK government has signed up to. What does it say about one's value if one is willing to abandon all our values, all our laws, to protect a state that holds our values in contempt? So stopping the murder, the mass destruction, the mass starvation is our absolute priority. Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! We must impose a comprehensive arms embargo on a government that commits genocide. Arms embargo now! We must cut all ties, impose comprehensive sanctions on an Israeli government intent on ethnic cleansing. And war criminals, starting with Netanyahu, must be behind bars. Not only implementing the arrest warrants of the ICC is justice to the victims, it is a deterrent for the next war criminals, for future war criminals, that you will be met with justice, with the full force of justice. And what are you waiting for, the UK government? What are you waiting for? Recognize the state of Palestine. Do it now. It is not a gift, not a favor. It is long overdue. It is our inalienable right. Right your wrong. Right the historic wrong that has been committed against the Palestinian people. And my friends, we will continue with you. We will continue to march, to speak out, to raise our collective voices until we reach that point with the British government. Our movement is not only about protesting death. Our movement is not only about protesting death. Our movement is about life. It is about life. It is about building a better future. It is about our children, your children, and their children. So, my friends, we must not stop should the killings stop. That is going to be our starting point, a new chapter. We must continue to work together, to march together, to act together, demand justice, demand freedom, demand equality. Enough of bigotry, enough of racism, enough of supremacy, enough of dehumanization, enough of double standards, enough of duplicity and hypocrisy. Enough with hypocrisy. And let me say this, we are still there in Palestine, and you are still here in Durham after all these years in Durham. We are not going anywhere, my friends. We are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere in our homes, on our land. And we carry our history, and you carry your history, not as a burden, but as a torch lighting our path towards the future, towards freedom, towards justice. And my friends, you may have been hearing about Israeli plans. Only a couple of days ago, publicly, the war minister saying they will build, I'm quoting, the most humane concentration camp in Rafah. They want to push 600,000 people in one concentration camp. I was born in Rafah. I was raised in Rafah. I was educated in Rafah schools. I know the people. I know the neighbors. I know the Rafah people. They will not allow a concentration camp to be built on their city. They will defy this. They will rebuild Rafah. We will rebuild Rafah with them. We will rebuild Gaza. We will rebuild Jenin and Tulkarem. And we will press ahead. We will march together. We will continue together until you and us one day rejoice in a free. And one last thing, my friends. I learned yesterday that I am the first ever Palestinian to be invited to this platform. When in fact, in the early days, for decades, the Miners Association would invite successively one ambassador, the Israeli ambassador. But the fact that I'm here, the fact that this is the first time a Palestinian ambassador is invited, tells you the tide has shifted. And yes, it's the first time I'm here, but let me tell you, see you next year. Thank you.